What happened to your face, sweetheart? The question came out of Julian Cole's mouth before he could stop it. He had lowered his window when the girl approached with a box of half-melted candy bars. But the moment he saw the swelling under her left eye, every instinct in him snapped to alert. She froze. Her hands clutched the worn cardboard tighter. I fell on the sidewalk. Julian's eyes didn't waver. That bruise didn't come from concrete. Oh. She glanced toward the corner of the street. Her eyes, big, brown, and trembling, flashed with something that looked like fear. Not the kind of fear a child has when they're in trouble. The kind that comes from being hunted. I'm Maya, she whispered. You still want to buy one? Please. The traffic light behind him had already turned green, but Julian didn't move. Horns honked. Angry shouts broke the tension. He fished out a $20 bill and passed it to her. Keep the change, he said, and Maya, stay right here. She gave a tiny nod, but turned quickly, crossing toward a dilapidated green van parked across the lot. Julian watched, frowning. Inside the van were 3 more children. 2 boys, 1 girl, faces drawn, silent. A man stood beside the open door, tall, wiry, with tattoos running down his arms and a cigarette burning in one hand. Maya handed him the money. The man counted it, then yanked her wrist. Not hard, but with enough pressure to make her flinch. Julian's gut tightened. He pulled over, stepped out of the Bentley, and crossed the street. That girl says she fell, he said coldly. But you and I both know she didn't. The man looked up slowly. Who the hell are you? Someone who's seen too many kids used like this. The man smirked. She's my niece. She's clumsy, always falling. Julian didn't blink. I'm going to have this entire block watched. You touch her again, I'll have your face on every news outlet from here to Miami. The man took a step forward. You got no idea who you're messing with, old man. But Julian was already snapping photos with his phone of the van, of the kids inside, of the license plate. His hands were steady, his voice deadly calm. Try me. He turned and walked back to his car. That night, Julian couldn't sleep. The bruise, the fear in Maya's voice, the van. None of it was random. Something darker was at play. He called Thomas. I found something, he said. It's bigger than I thought. Thomas listened quietly. Describe the van. Send me the plates. I'll run it. Julian did. And Tom's not just Maya. There were at least 3 more kids. By morning, Thomas called back. His voice was grim. You were right, he said. That plate belongs to a rental registered to a shell company. And Julian, this ain't the first time I've seen that van on my radar. We've been tracking a ring. Black kids mostly taken off the grid, forced to sell candy, clean windows, beg. If they don't hit their daily numbers, they get beaten. Some disappear altogether. Julian's hands tightened around his coffee mug. Human trafficking? He asked. Yeah, the real ugly kind. And most of them don't even know they're being trafficked. They just think they're working off some debt. Julian stood in silence. For a moment, memory surged, his own sister's cries through a thin wall when they were kids. The bruises their father denied. The system that failed to intervene. If this story stirred something in you like it did in Julian, then maybe it's time we all looked a little closer at the corners we usually pass by. How many Mayas are out there just waiting for someone to see them? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever witnessed something that didn't sit right with you? What did you do? And if stories like this matter to you, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe for more real human stories from BUP Stories, and help us spread awareness by sharing this video. Every voice counts. Every action matters. He made up his mind. I want in, he said. I want to fund the investigation. I want to help shut this down. Julian Thomas warned this gets dangerous. These people don't play by rules. Neither do I. Julian went back to the street corner that afternoon. The van was gone, but someone else was there, a boy, maybe 12, with a candy box and the same bruised silence Maya had carried. Julian walked up, offered a gentle smile, and said quietly, "Tell Maya someone's looking for her." The boy didn't reply, but his eyes lingered a moment longer than fear alone would allow, and that was enough for Julian. He walked away, but something had shifted inside him. This wasn't just about Maya anymore. It was about all of them. Julian Cole parked 2 blocks from where he last saw Maya. The same busy intersection pulsed with heat and routine commuters, honking cars, and vendors barking for attention. But the green van was nowhere in sight. Thomas had called twice since morning. No leads yet. The plates were registered to a non-existent business in Nevada, a shell. Standard procedure for people trying to stay invisible. Julian stepped into the shade of a liquor store awning. He adjusted his cufflinks out of habit, though the tailored suit he wore today felt almost ridiculous among the grime of the street. A voice startled him. "You looking for candy, sir?" A different kid this time. Latino, maybe 8 or 9, with a fresh scrape across his chin and a box of chocolate bars held like a shield. Julian crouched eye level. "What's your name?" The boy hesitated. "Alex, you with the man in the green van?" Alex's eyes flicked sideways just a flick. "Enough." Julian followed the motion. The van, same model, different plates, parked half concealed behind a rundown gas station. This time, a woman sat in the driver's seat. She wore sunglasses big enough to hide half her face and flipped through a magazine while chewing gum. Julian's pulse quickened. He stood slowly, past Alex at 20, and nodded toward a nearby convenience store. "Why don't you get yourself something cold to drink?" The boy looked at the money like it was magic. "Thank you, mister." Julian watched him go before turning his attention back to the van. He crossed the street deliberately, pausing beside a payphone post just a few yards away. The windows were tinted, but he could see outlines, 3 children in the back. Maya among them. His breath caught. She looked thinner. Her arms wrapped tight around her knees. One of the boys beside her had a swollen lip. The smallest girl was asleep or pretending to be. Julian pulled out his phone and called Thomas. "They're here. The van's back. Maya's inside." "Don't approach yet," Thomas said. "We need time to organize. I can get a plainclothes unit there in 20. We don't have 20, Julian said. "They're moving." The driver just started the ignition. "Julian, don't do anything stupid." But he already was. Julian strode forward and stepped in front of the van as it began to roll. The driver slammed the brakes. She leaned out the window. "You want to get run over, old man?" "I want the kids," he said flatly. She laughed a short, sharp bark. "You want to get killed?" The passenger door opened. Another man stepped out, short, stocky, wearing a stained hoodie, his hands clenched into fists. Julian didn't back down. "Let them go or I promise you the next 24 hours of your life will be the worst you've ever known." The man stepped closer. "We'll leave. You step back." Julian took out his phone again. "You're being recorded. This is live streaming to a cloud. If I disappear, the footage goes straight to the press." The driver cursed and hit the gas. Julian jumped aside just in time. As the van sped away, tires screeched, horns blared, and a pedestrian shouted. Julian ran back to his Bentley, started the ignition, and tailed the van through the streets of Hollywood. He kept his distance, weaving through traffic like a younger version of himself. Thomas's voice came through the Bluetooth. "What the hell did you do?" "They ran. I'm following, heading east on Melrose." "Damn it, Julian. You're not a cop." "Then send one." Sirens began wailing in the distance. Julian's heart pounded. The van turned sharply onto a narrow alley, tires clipping a trash can. Julian followed, but stopped short. The alley ended in a chain-link gate. Beyond it, nothing but a